Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I felt brave and wanted to attempt to record my first ever model related thoughts and opinions video. This is purely an experiment on my end to get used to me recording my voice. Hopefully get over my fear of that a little bit. So I apologize in advance. There's going to be little side tangents. There's going to be rambling as I figure this out. Thank you for bearing with me. Another quick little disclaimer is this is purely just my opinions. This isn't meant to bash anyone else. If you really love a horse that I don't, that's awesome. I'm happy that there's more to go around for you. And yeah, it's just an opinions video. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings or bash any models maliciously. You clicked this video to know what my opinions were, so let's leave it at that. So jumping right on in with the celebration horse, scrolling all the way down here. This is Athenian Lady, chestnut splash white on the Dundee mold. I don't believe Breyer has said if they altered Dundee's male anatomy into a female for this specific release. If they did, that's really cool. But, not the end of the world. And honestly, when I saw the promo video for her, that was it. That sold me enough to get a Breyerfest ticket just for her. She is perfect, in my opinion. I know by now, I hope that a lot of you guys know, Breyer's promo pictures, for better or for worse, they never accurately look like the models once people have them in hand or in person. So, I'm hoping that this girl here is going to be one that looks amazing in hand as well as she does in promo pictures. There's just something about a very simple, a simple patterned horse done exceptionally well. There's beauty and simplicity, and I feel like this girl has tons of potential. So yeah, I'm very excited for her, especially if I don't get Merle by the time Breyerfest comes around. I am going to have a Dundee Conga again, as well as Geronimo. Those two are my favorite traditional molds, and I just... I can't resist it anymore. I am committing to congaing both of them. Down here, this is the Still Bejeweled event stablemates. And yeah, no... I agree with a lot of other people that these just seem lazy, not that well thought out. Still Bejeweled, I guess these are supposed to be jewel tones, but to me, the only jewel tone that I'm seeing is just the pearlescent. These don't scream jewels to me, but I know there's a girl power theme and then underlining a female music artist theme, which I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite when I say this, because obviously my stable name is Mosh Pit Stables. If you haven't caught on by now, or followed my Instagram, or seen my Facebook posts, every single one of my models in my show string, they're all named after my favorite songs or bands. Every single one of them. So I can appreciate and respect where they're coming from, but this isn't a genre of music that speaks out to me or that I listen to. I believe there's only two artists further down that I recognize being referenced, and that's about it. So, it's cool idea, cool concepts. I know Breyer's never going to do metal or rock models, so I guess if there's ever going to be a musical Breyerfest sub-theme, I guess this is going to be it, and I'm just gonna have to be happy with that. Um, yeah, and I'm not upset with the long names either. I know a lot of people were not happy with the long names. I personally don't mind it, but the thing that gripes me the most is that all of them are filigree. Like, okay, we get it, they're decorators, but couldn't one be an Appaloosa, one be a paint? Um, something like that. Instead of all of them being filigree and then all of them having the beady dead eyes. The only one that I'm tempted to get here is Waiting for That Green Light, and that's purely just because I do like the stablemate jumper mold, and the green shade is the closest closest color on a model Breyer has ever produced to my stable signature color, like the cyan, Tiffany blue, whatever shade you want to call it. It's the closest to that shade. I'm not a decorator fan, so that's like, he's not guaranteed on my want list either. He'd just be like, oh, he'd be cool to have him, but I don't really care if I do or not. Moving on down to the special runs, this is Can't Hold Us Down. This is the first and only traditional Indian pony mold model, that I have ever been tempted to have. And that is purely because of her quote-unquote brindling. If you don't know this, horses don't have brindle like they do in dogs and cattle. If the brindling between dogs and cattle is even that comparable, I'm not sure. Nonetheless, horses don't have brindle in the way that you're probably thinking that they do. For this specific model, talking in real life horse genetics, which I am a big fan of, I really like studying that type of stuff. I believe this specific phenotype, aka the visual appearance, I believe this would fall under a somatic mutation, which I already have three original finished models with somatic mutations. So for that reason, I would love to have her, but I'm also not a huge fan of vintage molds. So I do think that this does give some sort of new life to the Indian pony mold, something really nice and modern. So I would maybe not come Breyerfest, not immediately have her, but maybe further on down the line, I would actually like to add her to my collection. Her striping, it looks gorgeous. So yeah, that's Can't Hold Us Down. Moving on to Miss Independent. I believe this model is referencing Kelly Clarkson, if I remember right, but this is a must-have. For special runs this year, top of my list, top tier, I must come home with her. Well, she must come home to me, since I'm virtual. I do understand what a lot of other people are saying. She doesn't really have that Breyerfest it factor. She definitely feels more like a Collector Club special run. I want her purely because she is a Donalino, or he, depending if, if they change the anatomy on the Northwest, oh my goodness, True North, wow, this is True North. I was thinking Denash's Northern Tempest, who I currently have on my shelves, but I'm going to, I think I'm selling her at Rainier Classic this year. And that's another reason I'm getting rid of Denash's Northern Tempest, so I want this guy to replace her spot on my shelves. I also have a mini color conga of Donalinos split between traditionals and my stablemates. So, yeah. I do feel like if they gave her, like, if she was a minimal Tobiano or Appaloosa, that would really make her pop, give her that little bit extra Breyerfest wow factor. But yeah, she's a little bit lackluster, I'm not gonna lie. but to me, she is gorgeous. I'm very, very excited to see what her dorsal stripe looks like. And let's see, if I zoom in, it looks like she may have a little bit of crossbarring on her withers as well. So I'm really hoping that translate well. Maybe there's variation with some darker primitive markings. I would really love to have one of those. Moving on to Sorry Not Sorry. Sorry Not Sorry that I just don't like him. I can see why lots of other people are excited for him. Again, for those of you who love him and he's like top tier of your list, I'm very excited for you. The thing that I probably like the most about this guy is the teeny tiny freckling around his thighs, his shoulder, his neck. I think that's a really cool detail that Breyer doesn't do on a lot of their Appaloosas. So that is something really cool to see. The mottling around his eyes and nose so far, I mean, not gonna lie, it looks a little wonky, but the mottling on the real life Appaloosas looks a little wonky. So I think that they did a great job. He's just not for me. I'm definitely way more stock type, and don't get me wrong, I do like my sport horses, but he's just he's just not it for me. Moving on down to This Is My Fight Song. He's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, he's really cool. I haven't had the chance to see this mold up close in person yet, but he's something. From these promos, his eyes, they look really nicely done. So that will be one thing I'm interested in seeing how he comes out come Breyerfest. I know he's very, very tall, so that's one of the reasons that I'm just like, I'm not crazy about him right now, is his height. And I already have a few long boys and one long girl, and I can barely shelve them with where I'm at in my apartment and just running out of space. So, yeah, space was a very harsh deciding factor on my want list this year. Otherwise, I feel like I would have placed this guy higher on my want list. But he's very nice, so I'm excited to see how he translates to semi-mass production in Breyerfest. Surprise, Girls Run the World. Cringe, but same. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because like I said, Dundee is tied for my favorite traditional mold. So in my very, very biased opinion, the surprise horses peaked when it was Dundee. Especially because the Palomino Pintalusa was my top pick when we saw them being revealed at Breyerfest, and that was who I got virtually, for first try from Breyer. So that was amazing. I don't have any crazy oh, I really want it to be this year, especially with the theme. I mean, Breyer hardly ever follows their own rules, so there is a chance that the Girls Run the World surprise horse isn't even going to be a mare mold. But I don't know. It could be anyone, and I'd be happy at this point. I just really hope that we see a Rabicano surprise horse. We have seen all types of Pinto patterns, Appaloosa patterns, Pintalusa patterns, solids. So, yeah, I just really want a Rabicano surprise horse. Moving on to the Edge of Glory. This guy is pretty neat. He definitely has some fish scale dapples going on. But I think that's a really cool and unique idea, seeing the airbrush dapples with the splatter resistant dapples on the same model. It gives it a very cool and unique look. Speaking as someone who used to previously own a gray straight Egyptian Arab, this isn't bad, really. You know, at first I was a little I was like, what are they really going for? But comparing pictures to my gray Arab when he was younger, it's like it's not really that far off. Of course, every horse who's gray, they have different graying stages, and you know, the graying stage is unique to every horse. So yeah, no, I'd say this is pretty good. He's not one that I want for myself, but yeah, I don't hate him. Down here, this is Fighter and Survivor. Um, I really like these two. Again, due to space, automatically disqualified from being on my want list, but they're gorgeous nonetheless. Again, there is a special type of beauty about a simply marked, colored horse with a great amount of detail, and I feel like that's what this mirror falls under. Again, she looks gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong, she is flashy the way that she is, but I also like, I, I know I'm going to like quick 180. Beautiful, simple model, but then at the same time, but give her more flash. Like just a little, like a nice belly spot. Or maybe she does and we just like it's like right on the middle of her belly. But I would like to see a little bit more Sabino on her. I feel like that would just give her a little extra flair. But they're both gorgeous just the way they are. Just not for my collection at this current time. This is I Will Survive, and it's gonna be another no for me, just because I'm not a fan of the zebra mold. I do think that's a really cool concept, bringing a extinct model, bringing an extinct species and turning it into a mold. It does fit the theme. That's awesome. I'm not crazy about him. So, once again, I'm happy for all of you who are, and all the zebra collectors out there. That's, I, I don't know, I just lost my words. Yeah, I'm just really happy for you guys, especially since the last zebra, if I remember right, was like the Christmas candy cane zebras, the decorators. So I'm glad that you guys get another realistic or semi-realistic model on this mold again. Better Than Revenge. As a kid who grew up with tons and tons of Lisa Frank growing up as a kid, that was not my immediate first impression. What I thought first time seeing her pictures was, oh my god, they made a Nickelodeon slime pony. Because of that chartreuse booger green. It is definitely a look. So, yeah. I mean, she's cool. Don't get me wrong. She's just, not for me. I don't collect decorators. I don't like that green. But she's interesting, and I hope, honestly, like this, the short roached pony mane, it's really cute. So I hope to see this mane on a regular run sometime soon, and then maybe I will try to get her. Onto the limited editions. This is Always Chipper. Very, very cute pony. Very nicely done. Black Tobiano. The only thing that I would like to see on this mold is in pictures it looked like the real horse. He had again, speaking in equine genetics, he had what we called a incomplete Tobiano marking. So it's basically where, how do I describe it? The hair follicles don't get the full message of, hey, we're being affected by Tobiano, we should be white. So it just comes out like a speckled and rony color. Well, rony little patch, even though the horse isn't genetically roan. So that's the only detail that I really would have liked added to Always Chipper, and really would have pushed him higher on my want list, because I collect models with color genetic oddities. So without that on him, don't get me wrong, he's very well done from these promo pictures. But without that, he is just another nicely done Black Tobiano, in my opinion. If he had the incomplete Tobiano marking, I really would have wanted to come home with him. This is Ellen a Day's work. Super cute. Very blocky hooves. His blocky hooves are just cute to me. I like his varnish roaning, the spots creeping up on the darker spots creeping up on his neck a little bit. I'm not crazy about this mule mold, but I know a lot of people love him. I'm happy for you guys. I do think that'd be really cool I can't wait to see him next to the models of Buckeye and seeing pictures of the two real mules together come Breyerfest. That's awesome. It's just not for me. I'm waiting to get a mule until Breyer makes a new one. Because these guys are cool. I just don't think that I can justify it on this for now. But yeah, Breyer, if you're listening, you're probably not. But if you are, a new traditional mule and a new stablemates mule, that would be amazing. Thank you. This is Gascon the Great. I see what a lot of people are saying, that he does, like Miss Independent, doesn't really scream Breyerfest. He seems like a nicely done regular run, but he's still gorgeous. In my opinion, he looks better than the Premier Club release. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. But yeah, I do see the concerns of the airbrush shading and his mane and his tail getting lost in translation being produced. But I think if someone could find a variation with like darker shading on his mane and tail, that would be gorgeous. I know Breyer is not going to gloss these guys, but I think he would make an excellent candidate to like gloss at home for your personal collection. Of course, if you do that, always remember to signature a hoof or something. Don't try to pass it on as OF. That is extremely looked down upon. But yeah, like if you get him and you want him to have a little bit of extra oomph for your own personal collection, I think he'd be an excellent candidate for gloss. Yeah, so he's very pretty, but just not now. For my collection, at least. Moving on to Blue Zeus. This is the first Fireheart mold that I said, oh my god, I must have him. I haven't been crazy about the Fireheart mold. I've been in the minority there, but I think this guy might be the one to change that all around for me. He's beautiful. From his promo pictures, he looks stunning, so I can only hope. My fingers are crossed. He's going to look this good, if not better, once we get him in hand. This is the first online only model for Breyerfest. All ticket holders can get him. He's not available for the VIP preference, which, not gonna lie, that makes me happy because it makes me feel like I have a slightly better chance of getting one directly from Breyer. But I feel like this guy is going to go fast, like lightning speed, so I'm a little bit scared. But he is one that he's top tier of my list. Again, that I must have. I just hope that by the time that he comes out, because he is a very big boy, hopefully I can make room for him. Down here we have Just Like Fire, and I want to know what the designer was thinking. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just want to understand. I get the Phoenix relation. I just want to understand the design itself. Why did this guy turn out the way that he did? Again, I don't mean that to be termed like mean or snobby, just for lack of better wording. I don't know. Words are very hard with this guy. Not for me. For you guys who collect this Malik Arabian mold, I'm excited for you. For the fantasy lovers, I'm excited out for you. But yeah, definitely not for me. There was a water-inspired run on this mold a few years ago, so I do think that it would be nice to see these two side by side after Breyerfest, but that's like the only time that I'd ever be interested in seeing this guy again. That's it. This is Fortitude, the fighting stallion shrunken down into this year's crystal. He's cool. Very happy for all you fighting stallion fans. He's not gonna come home with me. Again, maybe if they did Dundee or Geronimo on a crystal, I would definitely try to do that. Other than that, the only crystal that I want so far is the Bobby Joe. But yeah, he's cool. He's very pretty. I hope to one day own a crystal, but just not this year. Down here we have the Best of Breyerfest Series 5. So again, speaking as someone who primarily collects minis, this is a very pretty set, but at the same time underwhelming set. Bear with me as I zoom in here on my phone. Try to get a closer look at these guys. My favorite of the set is this Corbin molds. He's not gonna lie, he carries the set, in my opinion. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be a bay or like a clipped black. He's a very interesting body color, but I'm a huge fan of his Sabino markings and the little ticking around it. Very, very nice. I hope that he looks that nice in person. So out of the set, he is my favorite this year. Over here we have the Cantering Quarter Horse Mare. She's words. She's very simple, but she's very nice. She is nice and glossy. She doesn't seem Breyerfest to me. I mean, I know that she is a mini-me of a raffle model. Was it last year's raffle model? Or 2 years ago? But again, it doesn't have that Breyerfest it factor, in my opinion. But she is very pretty. And she does sort of remind me of the chestnut quarter horse mare that I used to own in real life. Both had blazes, but the only difference is my mare, instead of having a sock, she had a half cornet band. So yeah, I think this is going to be like the closest like mini-me uh, to my real life horse that Breyer's ever going to do. So that's going to be the reason why I keep this girl. Plus, I don't have a special run on this mold yet, so that's another thing. I have this goal of owning a special run on every stablemate mold. So once I get her, she'll check off that mold for me. This guy, I can't remember his name. I don't remember any of these guys' names, really. Stablemate scale fighting stallion. He's super cute. Not gonna lie. I haven't been a big fan of this guy until now. So far, to date, this guy is my favorite. I am very excited for him because that way, once I have this guy, I can sell the Appaloosa Fighting Stallion from the Stablemates Club because he's that weird chestnut with a purple interference, and I'm just not about that. But I needed to have one on that mold in the meantime. So once I get this guy, my stablemate Appaloosa Fighting Stallion, he will be put up for sale or trade. But this guy's cute. I like his markings, and I feel like he has good potential for live shows. So this is the Vallegra stablemate. Not gonna lie, I was a huge, well, not huge, I was a bigger fan of this guy until I saw this yellow bar shading on his legs. I really, really hope that not all of them are going to be like that, because now I can't unsee it. I just see yellow stripes on his legs. Hopefully there's a nice variation and I can find a darker one, because I did have I was going to try this guy as a breed that I haven't seen someone assign Vallegro as, or at least I haven't paid attention. So I was excited for that aspect, but now the barring makes me a little bit worried. So yeah, plus this big W right on the middle of his side. It's interesting. It's interesting. Right over here, at first, this guy was like my least favorite of the set, but now he's growing on me. He's really pretty silver, dapple silver bay, Tobiano. I already have a loose mane, the Matt Atticus from the Stablemates Club. I already have him on this mold, so now I just need a braided or bobbed version. I think I'm going to try for Ned from the Spokes and Spurs event, because so far of the 3 braided bobbed versions that they've come out with so far, I believe I like Ned the best. But this guy, he's pretty. He's cute. I think I already have a breed assignment for him, but I'll just have to wait and see what he looks like come Breyerfest and if I think that he's worth holding on to. The last model for this year, this is Wild Things. He is the other online only model for this year. He is on the Charleston mold. He looks like he's a very coppery flaxen chestnut Sabino. I'm not a huge fan of metallic, pearly, realistic colored models. Don't get, like, on some very specific runs, they have made their run, but on this guy, bear with me, it's just, I'm not sure. I know a lot of people love him as is. I'm happy for you guys. I just would have wished to see at least pearly mane and tail on this guy. Leave his body color alone. Especially the pearly legs. Like, I mean, you can tell this guy's realistic, but to me, it's definitely more closer to decorator vibes. Not every flaxen chestnut or every palomino has to be pearly. But he's cute, and I do think that I'm still going to try to get him anyways, just because of his Sabino markings. They do make him a little bit more flashy. And with that, my thoughts and opinions about all the Breyerfest models for this year is concluded. Thank you very much for tuning in and bearing with me. My next video coming out is going to be the Collector Club Appreciation Unboxing. So I'm very excited to share with you my very first unboxing video. Keep an eye out for that. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and very happy collecting.